Okay, should be live. Boy, look at those fast boys. You guys are always in here, Speedy Gonzalez. How is everybody doing tonight? Apologies for the 40-something minute delay, but at least the stream started. Should have everything right, and everything was shared out. Let's see if I sound okay. Cool. Alright, what is up, Velvet Network? What is up, Jay-Z? I feel like I'm totally butchering that. What is up, Derp Lord? And what is up, Let's Happy? What's up, Jester? Let us get started, because this is going to be... I don't think it's going to be a long one, but it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Okay, so we have all of our controls here. Let's actually turn ourselves down just a little bit. Oh, duh, you guys actually can't even hear the music yet. We turn ourselves down just a little bit. I thought you guys might enjoy the scramble countdown. I figured if we're going to be live streaming, we might as well make it worth it. A little bit. I thought you guys might enjoy the scramble countdown. I figured if we're going to be live streaming, we might as well make it worth it. Doubling audio. My bad. Alright. Let us actually get started with the podcast. Yeah, sorry about that. Should be all gone now. What is up, Ghost Echo? Thank you for the subscription earlier. Much appreciated. Alright. Let's have a clean podcast for our clean Christian followers. And, yeah, let's just get started, everybody. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 185 Live. I'm your host, Spencer Presley, and joining me for this episode is the ghost of TGS 2018 past. Okay, good. It's looking just as terrible as I'd hoped. I clearly had way too much time on my hands while making this and thought, hey, do you guys remember that really terrible, not terrible in a bad way, but terrible in an amazing way, stage of E3 2018 where they just had you walk through Ren's legs, but that was the door to play the demo? Yeah, E3 was weird. Either way, if you are joining me live, thank you so much. So shoutouts to Jester, shoutouts to Derp Lords, shoutouts to Jay-Z, shoutouts to Let's Be Happy, shout out to Vito, and anyone else I might forget. Shout out to Velvet Network, of course. So yes, this episode is going to be another solo live show, but here, let me actually get out of Ren's legs really quick just for that one cutaway gag. Look how funny that was. Alright. What is up, Arx? Wow, I don't think you've ever been in a live stream before here. So, miracles are happening tonight. Clearly, we're breaking all records. Alright. Got our stuff going on. Alright, everybody, so, first up on the docket, as I stop looking at OBS for a little bit, TGS is this month. TGS as an event is canceled. And in its wake is going to be TGS Online, which is going to be this amalgamation of different shows as well as... I'll tell you this, if we can get to 20 viewers, I'll go back into Ren's crotch for the rest of the episode. But yeah, so TGS Online is kind of like this weird amalgamation of other companies. So right now, in terms of who we have confirmed there, in terms of things that kind of stand out to me that I'm very aware of, Capcom is just announced today that they are going to be showing off more Resident Evil 8. Koei Tecmo is going to be showing off 2 new Musou games, more of Ryza 2, and I'm probably guessing some more Nioh 2 DLC. I'm going to shill mode. Yeah, it's really hard to see if this year's going to be really, really crazy. So going to today's news of Sega and Atlus confirming that they're going to be having a presence at TGS Online and a live stream. It's going to be at least 50 minutes long, and it's going to take place on September 25th, so a couple of weeks away still. And all we really know is that the translation of it just says, hey, check out the Sega/Atlus lineup featuring existing and upcoming titles releasing this fall. Don't miss out on the special Sega 60th anniversary event and other live stream featuring various guest personalities will bring you. All the latest stuff from our TGS exhibit, sorry. And my brain, I was like, wait, they can't actually be doing an exhibit because, yeah, obviously the event is kind of done. So yeah, on the 25th, you're going to have a couple of different live streams. We have no idea what games. We have absolutely no idea who's going to be there. I think if we're being smart, the most realistic thing is obviously Nocturne Remastered. If your name is Gnarly, you are going to get very excited and think that SMT5 is going to be there, and me, Spencer, will laugh you out of Twitter, but that is because he is a very optimistic boy, and I love that about him. What is up, Khalil? Yeah, so we have so many different sort of things, and obviously because this is SMTN, we're going to go and talk about Atlus prediction first. I'm just going to start with the basically insane, oh my god prediction, see what you guys think, because this is almost so crazy, I have to believe it's real. As you're noticing, if you're looking at this live version of the podcast, sorry, I have Facebook up, so enjoy that little boop boop. Alright, so as we get rid of Facebook. So yeah, let me drag myself away from here. So I have chat up. Alright, so this is the weird bet I have. Everybody who is involved with Persona 5 Scramble is working on this game. Sorry, everybody who is involved with Persona 5 Scramble is going to be at TGS. TGS is a primarily Microsoft... Sorry, my brain is really all over the place. TGS is primarily a very Japanese-focused consumer event. Even though this is online, I don't expect that to change. So why would I expect any Scramble news to come out of this? So here is where my crackpot theory comes into play. Koei Tecmo is known for always, and I mean always, double-dipping when they can on new games. If any of their games have ever been a success, they will always make an Extreme Legends, a Complete, a Deluxe Edition. Anything that they can re-release it with even minimal new content, they will always jump on that. So, why does my dumb brain think this is going to happen? I'm not 100% sure, but here is what I'm expecting is going to happen at some time in Tokyo Game Show 2020. As you can tell by the countdown, as of this recording, it has been 495 days. No joke! 495 days since Persona 5 Scramble has been announced. Now, obviously, we know it is coming to the West. Atlus West is publishing it. They are dummy thick and have not given us an official announcement because they just hate me, Let's Happy, and Mirth ever being happy in the world, so they can't have that happen. Either way, maybe they've been so dummy thick that they actually knew a deluxe version was happening, and the West would get really mad if they were sold a version of the game for $90 and then had to buy another one like 7 months later. Well, 7 to 12, let's say, because we have no idea when this deluxe version of Scramble will come out or how ready it might be. So let's just say this. Koei Tecmo was working on this game and they were like, okay, Omega Force put this game out in the West, no problem. then people at Omega Force are like, well, if we're bringing it to the West, we might as well bring it over to PC, might as well bring it over to Xbox One. Oh yeah, there are new systems coming out this year, so let's update the visuals a little bit, put it on Series X, put it on PlayStation 5, and just basically crank as much money as they can out of this thing, rightfully so. So now you're going to be having a game, instead of launching on 2 platforms, you're going to be having a game with, let's assume, at minimum, some new story content and at least 2 new characters. Then you're going to be having the game out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. We're not going to cut the S in Xbox One X. Nintendo Switch, and PC. That's 6 platforms for a new content drop that's not only going to let you double dip in Asia and Japan, but is finally going to shut all the Westerners up like me, who've been begging for this game since the moment it got announced, and even imported it, as you can see right here. I'm thinking this is also the only chance they have at making their Western announcement for this game not being a just total laughingstock. Because let's be honest, if Atlus just wakes up tomorrow or the year 20XX and says, okay guys, we're finally announcing Persona 5 Scramble, we're not going to celebrate them. We're gonna laugh them off the internet. We're going to be like, well, good job, dum-dums. We found the legal documents before we could even be fucked to get a tweet out. So, like, there's no situation where vanilla P5S gets a positive response from them. And looking at the chat actually right now of Eric saying that Japan doesn't care about Xbox. Very, very true, but remember, this is a new year for new consoles to launch. Xbox has already announced that they are going to be at TGS. Xbox, while always failing spectacularly in Japan, when a new system launches, they will always try to at least push ahead a little bit there. So Xbox is going to be having a brand. Obviously, if they're making an Xbox Series X version, just making it backwards compatible on Xbox One is not that big of an ask. It already runs on the toaster that is the Nintendo Switch, so not a big deal. Jester brings a great point. Since Persona 5 Scramble is a success, we get Persona 5 Scramble Royal. I have no idea what they would call the added version of it. They can't do the normal, which, by the way, will 100% be the name of this episode in my mind, of Persona 5 Scramble. No, it has to be Strikers. We've already gotten that. It's going to be Persona 5 Strikers, the Phantom Scramble Extreme Legends Empires Complete Edition. Deluxe. Maybe if you want to be like extra, put an XD or something. P5 Benedict. Oh my god, yeah. Like, would you like your omelet collector's edition? That's like, oh my god, yeah. The egg memes will be on point for sure, no matter what happens. So yeah, we're going into a year where every country, console, and human being with $500 burning a hole in their pocket is begging for next-gen hardware. Next-gen hardware makers are begging for new games. So even a port from February coming to next-gen, all the console makers are going to eat it up. Like, Nintendo has nothing this holiday. Sorry, Pikmin. Xbox has nothing this year. Sorry, Xbox. PlayStation, obviously, they are known for Persona, and they want it no matter what. Like, they would not be left out of the conversation, even though they do have a pretty solid holiday lineup, even if it's just Miles Morales. Let's check what the chat is saying. But yeah, so what is up, Mirth? We were just talking about how Atlus hates you, America, and Scramble. But yeah, so wrapping up my predictions about Persona 5 Royale Deluxe Benedict Arnold Edition, I think they have to just add something to it. Now, what are they going to add outside of, like I said, maybe 2 characters minimum and a little bit of story? They really don't got to add much. Like, the only thing I can think of that was like a feature I felt was missing, and even that's not really saying very much, is at the very least co-op in some way I would have really liked. It's such a different kind of Muso game, but just 2-player co-op in those games are just always so much fun, and that was one one of the few bummers when it came to showing that game off to my fiance. Of like, oh, I really wanted to like play this 2-player with her, but obviously it makes sense. It's a lot more platforming, things like that. So that's the big one for Atlus. That's like the huge no way in hell it's going to happen, but if it does, I'm going to scream. Quick little thing before we get into more predictions about a deluxe version of P5S. How would you guys feel about that? Like, let me know online, but also in the chat right now of like, after waiting all of this long, if the first version you get of P5S is the deluxe version, would you just be happy you're getting it? Would you say, well, I would have enjoyed an option to play it sooner in English? Like, how do you feel if the West was, for lack of a better words, basically holding it hostage just to only sell you one version instead of 2? So it's like, for me, I'm kind of stuck just due to the fact of like, I think it was dumb of them to sleep on this for so long, but at the same point, if they can get it out internationally for the Benedict Deluxe Edition, I guess go for it. It's just so like, it's just so tough. Let's see. Jester says, I think we could see a Persona Gacha style spin-off game announced for phones and consoles. Gacha will never be on consoles. To my knowledge, there's never been a Gacha game that has actually ever been financially successful. I personally hate Gacha games. The only one I've ever given any time or credence to is like Kingdom Hearts, and that's just due to the fact that I love Kingdom Hearts and it technically has a story. I think gacha mechanics are just super sleazy, and all my friends who play them, shout out to all of you out there who might be listening, I just hate it. Like a great example is like, yeah, look at like what V8 says, look at DX2. I hate DX2. It's an SMT game on mobile, and you couldn't pay me to play it. That is not the worst one, Arx. Arx is saying that Kingdom Hearts is the worst one. No. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to the worst ones, it's pretty much universally accepted that Fire Emblem and Fate are like the worst gacha games out there in the internet. Please let me know if I'm wrong. Timmy Tom says Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links is on Steam. Duel Links is a weird one of like, yeah, it has gacha mechanics, but that's just more from TCG than actual gacha. Going back to the chat, they also said, V8 says, there's no point in making a deluxe version of Persona 5 Scramble. I forgot to add this why I don't think it's going to happen. They can add royal characters because P5S is a sequel to P5 and not P5R. So I've heard that argument before. I think it's a little bit not fair because there's nothing in P5S that specifically rules out R is happening. The only difference is that obviously Kasumi and Maruki are never like mentioned, and it's like, yeah, that's probably an effect of the games being like developed basically at the same time, but it would be so easy for them to write them into some sort of DLC or even like a post-game content, or even just to add them in. Like they as much as people love Kasumi and Maruki, they have no real need to be in the story, because the whole point of P5S is about the Phantom Thieves coming together again, so they're really not missing out on anything. We're having the world's longest transition for music. But I definitely see your point, though. Let's see. Jay-Z says, for some news for the Persona 25th anniversary plans, I would say don't expect anything like that, just because, like, yeah, we're getting close to the 25th anniversary, but everything is still in such a weird flux. You don't really want to make a big concert announcement. I feel, at least, you don't want to make a big concert announcement until we're basically all but done through this, and everyone kind of gets an excuse. Like, maybe do pop-up shops, announce a game collection like P3, 4, or whatever on more consoles, but in terms of like big events and stuff, I wouldn't expect anything too crazy for the anniversary, at least at TGS. Obviously, yes, they're going to do something next year for the anniversary, they're not insane, but they just have so many other titles to focus on, and I think this TGS is going to be really reserved. Like, if I had to be honest, don't expect anything Project Refantasy, don't expect anything from SMT5 and expect a lot of Nocturne, and maybe, if you're lucky, more Steam talk, but even that's going to be kind of tough, like a tough sell. Timmy Tom says, I would have preferred having to play it early. Yes, as you should. The game is the GOAT of this year, for sure. I'm sure there's a lot of talk for what I just said. Eric is agreeing, yes, FGO is the worst. Jacket says, I just hope it's announced before my birthday so I can justify spending a lot of money on the most expensive edition of P5S. Also, if you guys want to talk about, like, hypothetical nightmare scenarios for collectors, just imagine the system bundle for PlayStation 5 if, like, in some miracle nightmare escape they announce a PS5 system bundle with Persona 5 Scramble. I would actually, like, piss my pants. Let's see here. V8 says, I say Fate Goes the worst, gotcha. Mirth says, technically Persona 5 Scramble is a sequel to both versions of P5. They can add whether they want for DLC. Ark says, FGO has definitely done a lot better in the past year. Listen, you already are making it sound like this gacha game is like a recovering drug addict. You shouldn't have to be like, it's doing better. Like, when you're the worst, anything is better than what you started with. Yeah, gacha mechanics, dude, I will never, ever understand. Let's Happy says, I'd rather it be delayed for a deluxe edition than being delayed for no reason. That's very true. At the very least, Atlus West will have the biggest get-out-of-jail-free card if Persona 5 Benedict gets announced. Like, oh my god. Because I've been hounding them on Twitter. Anytime anyone asks, like, okay, why hasn't Scramble been announced? My immediate answer has always been, there's no reason it's not getting announced. I know they're working on it. They're actually in... Like, listen, this is just the truth. That game has already been announced. A deluxe edition coming or not, they should have said something. They should have said something. Like, they are bad at marketing this game. That is just a stone cold fact. They are bad at marketing Persona 5 Scrambled, and for God's sakes, fucking 13 Sentinels comes out in less than a month. Can we get some dubs in your marketing? My God, I swear that game's gonna sell 5 copies. Jester brings up a great point. Don't forget about Akechi. Oh my God, they need to add Akechi into Scramble so bad. Yeah, he's missing, like, when you're playing the dancing game, it's like, man, it's lame there's only one Akechi song, but also, it's a dancing game. He's just kind of dancing around. You're not really going to control him dancing. In a game like Scramble, where every character controls so differently and, for the most part, really, really well, it is an actual crime against the Geneva Convention that Akechi is not in the game. I would trade 9,000 Kasumis or any other DLC character for Akechi getting added in, even though he should have been in at launch. But obviously, if you played the game, you understand why he's not in the story. Let's see. Fire Emblem Heroes does suck now, though. See, like, what makes it bad now as opposed to when it launched? See, this is the whole thing with, like, gacha that, like, is just so weird for me. Let's see. Turn music down a smidge. Yeah, I can turn the music down here. Let's actually be, let's get our controllers down here. Tell me if that's any better, guys. This one actually has vocals, so that might be a little bit why. It's like half Scramble, half TGS, and half Gacha Talk. Jester says he was already brought back. Might as well. Yeah, exactly. Royal's just covering it for the Scramble DLC. V8 says, I don't want them to bring back Kasumi or Dr. Maruki. They ended their stories well. I suck at spoiling, by the way. No, you're good. They should just leave them how they are. Yeah, that's true, but like for DLC, it's like, okay, story-wise, yeah, they have no reason to be there, so don't force them. But at the same time, hey, also, let's like get in there. Ark says, to be frank, Akechi and Haru were literally the only good... That is such a specifically weird combination of two good characters. I would have at least thought that you would have liked Makoto. Like, I love Haru and I love Akechi, but just those two is like your top gets is such an interesting pick. Let's see... Mirth says, Akechi has become the Schrodinger's cat of Persona. Who knows if he's coming back or not? I'm still guessing that the final Persona 5 spin-off game will just be, like, all about Akechi, because why not? Timmy Tom, 13 Sentinels is coming out in 3 weeks, and I feel like we're the only, like, all 15 of us in this chat are the only ones who care. Let's not fight over royal lore. If not, what else are we here to fight about? Jester brings up a good point for our next suggestion, and this is one I always debunk all the time. Persona 5 Arena. If anyone here knows me, they know I love two things. I love my steel books, and I love my fighting games. Persona 4 Arena, and especially Ultimax, are such a special game, and just something like I love so much. I would love any form of that game coming back, especially how much I know that... honestly, for me, I don't know if this is blasphemous to say or not, like, and this is coming from someone who is a lapsed BlazBlue fan, and a definitely big Guilty Gear fan. I would say that in terms of their 2D pixel art, their, like, best job was with Ultimax. Like, the character roster was great. Everyone played very, very differently. Even when there were echo characters, like with the Shadows, it was still just, like, so good. Like, the only problem with Ultimax is just that it didn't get supported as long as I would have wanted. It's like, if that's, like, my biggest complaint, like, you're doing a pretty good job at the very least. But yes, why I don't think we're getting it, especially at not this TGS, Arcs is too busy. They're still barely pushing out Guilty Gear Strive. I have not been following Grand Blue Versus, but I'm pretty sure Grand Blue is still getting DLC characters. Dragon Ball FighterZ is still getting DLC characters. And, like, if you had to, like, come up to me and I'm, like, the president of Arc System Works, two companies come up to you. Dragon Ball FighterZ 2 or Persona Arena 2. Easily you go with Dragon Ball. Like, as big of a deal as Persona is, FighterZ 2 is going to lapse that 9,000 times in terms of fan base and interest. It's just the truth. I mean, I love both games, so I'd be fine with it, but it's like, FighterZ 2 is definitely way closer to happening than Arena 5. 5 Arena, whatever the hell. You know what I mean. Timmy Tom, you bring up a very, very good point about 13 Sentinels. A little bit of a PSA. If you guys are remotely interested, that is going to get a really, really small run from Atlus. Vanillaware games very, very rarely ever get second printings. Just look at Odin Sphere. I would say, especially if you're interested in getting that physical art book, hope to God the retailers will still have them. I have a bit of a conspiracy theory in terms of I think those art books got a way smaller print run than Atlus planned on. And the reason behind that is just due to the fact that they basically announced the first date in June with the art book, and they've never mentioned it since, and they've continually talked about, hey, if you pre-order digital, then you'll get a digital art book, which just to me screams, oh fuck, we have way less art books than we planned on, so let's try and push the let's try pushing the digital one so people aren't going to be as mad. So we'll find out. At the very least, I'm going to try and get some extras in case people get screwed. Let's get back to our little chitty chat. Let's Happy is definitely agreeing here with no P5 Arena anytime soon. Here, this is the last thing we'll mention about gacha games. Ark says, Fire Emblem Heroes power creep is super bad. Every major banner has been constantly increased stat averages and plus 10 and a servant to max necessary for competing in higher tier stuff. That might have not even been English. I think I just rolled my eyes back in my head. Everything in Fate Grand Order can be played without a 5-star. Again, none of this seems like English to me. Maddie M, if you're ever feeling brave enough, please tell me why you do not ever have a catchy for anything. I'm always interested of, like, I understand why some people don't like him, but I like talking to people about, especially if you've played Royal, of like, man, how do you not like that character? Like, he's not a good person, but he's a great character. Let's see. Mirth again agreeing with Persona 5 Arena and Arc being too busy. Jester says Arc System actually has multiple free teams right now. Unless we're talking about the poverty team that made Cross Tag Battle, I would pray to God that that team does not make Arena. So I don't know if we're maybe talking about like some of their like sister studios and stuff, but in terms of the big boys, yeah, like all the big boys are working on stuff right now that any team at Arcu I'd want working on the game is definitely busy. Vito says, my ex never gave me my PS2 copy of Odin Sphere back. I wonder if Odin Sphere is actually that much money nowadays, just because the remake on PS3, Vita, and PS4 is just so, like, all over the place. Like, I'm sure that's gone up in price a lot more. But let's see what Odin Sphere on PS2 goes for cost-wise. Just because, why not just totally uproot this show to look at prices for video games? You can buy Odin Sphere, which I am amazed has a greatest hits version, for $35 right now. Sold by Amazon. So, not bad. And I'm even seeing copies for like $25. Yeah, so if you lost your copy of OG Odin Sphere, you're fine. But, for me, like, unless you're just like a big PS2 collector, just get Luftrausers or whatever the heck the updated version is. It's the best version of the game. It's on Vita. Just soak it up. That game is so good. Senorish is in the chat. My God, we got busy. Not going to have a dub, so no buy. No dub, no buy, man. I'm definitely in the no dub, no buy club, but I've broken that rule for a lot of games. Senor says, giving me a fighting game where I can main on will be the one thing to make me play a fighting game outside of Smash. Senorish, gotta ask you, big news. How do you feel? We are now living in a post-Ultra Despair Girls world. As of today, NIS lost the rights and it got pulled from the PlayStation Store. So it's really, really weird that we are now without Ultra Despair Girls. And really sucks looking at those like store listings and just seeing there being nothing at all. God help physical prices. I can only imagine how much those things are just going to smack everybody in the face. Let's see. They can bring him back. Remember when Mona said about cognition? Yeah, again, we're getting back into how can we bring Gora back? Gesture says Persona would probably be made by the smaller team anyways. It was always. It will also probably be a 3D fighter because models are easier. See, that's the thing of like Persona as a 3D. Sorry, Persona as a 3D arena fighter. I think is instant death. Outside of the Naruto Storm games, which I know aren't even for everybody, like, every 3D arena fighter for anime has just always underwhelmed in a lot of different aspects, but the 2D ones have always kind of shined, at least from them. Timmy Tom... Oh my gosh, Timmy Tom bought Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload for $44. That is definitely... that's a steal for eBay, for sure. Senora says 2020 is the worst year. This is the final straw. It was like, alright guys, Chadwick Boseman passing, strike 1. Coronavirus, strike 2. Ultra Despair Girls off the PlayStation Store? No way! We're getting out of here! Oh my god. Alright. Well... Going on to a couple more predictions. This one I want to sort of talk about third-party stuff, and just because I'm a big Dum-Dum fan of other companies and like to make bets about what will happen. Mirth has a great point. 3D models are one thing. 3D arena fighters, no thank you. Atlus West is strike 3. No. Atlus West is the umpire. They're out. They're just out of here. Joey, what is up? I managed to get 1 and 2 Reload for $11 at a game store. That's a great steal. Like, nothing like better than when you find those games at like a used game store where you're like, ooh, boy. That was me with Amazing Spider-Man. I remember when I found Amazing Spider-Man, I was freaking out to my girlfriend, and she's like, "What? It's just like a dumb license game." I'm like, "No, this one's like $100. The rest are all garbage, but this one's $100." Oh, you know what? That'll be great. Jay-Z brings up a great point. Let's do Sega predictions, because Sega is going to be there. Sega is going to be there, so new Sonic game. Okay, we gotta have a talk, guys. Remember when 2020 was going to be the year of Sonic? Hi, Mary. Yeah, remember when... Oh, God, we have 20 viewers now. That means I'm legally obligated to go back to the crotch. Alright, we're going to the crotch for our bad predictions, so... I said this was going to happen. Whoop. Alright. We're back in the crotch now. Alright, so, now that we're making crotch predictions, let's do the Rin Nethers. Alright, so... Oh my gosh. Sega... As I made in my post, Sega's doing a lot this year. Like, Sega really has a lot of just, like... Yakuza, Puyo Puyo, Sakura Wars, other multiple ports of things. Like, they're just such a crazy busy company that, like, I don't know. It's just so odd to me of, like, oh man, I don't know. I don't think they could announce anything else because my biggest thing was always they had a fall plan of one big game a month, and big in obvious quotation marks. September, 13 Sentinels. And remember, I always count Atlus and Sega as the same company, because in the West they are. 13 Sentinels, September. Persona 5 Benedict, October. Yakuza 7, November. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 in December. Like, that fall seems so perfect. It's like, why announce anything else? Obviously, this is just for this year, so they could announce stuff for 2021. Sonic making an appearance, I feel like they would have just talked about it more, because like they know that there are Sega fans, there are Sonic fans, and then there are the very small minority who are both. And as much as I would love to see whatever Sonic Project 2020 is going to be, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine them doing it. Even though their original plan for this year was every month there was going to be something new about Sonic. So I would say no way Jose for Sonic, maybe a teaser, but nothing satisfying. Like, as long as we don't see the word Forces again or Forces Strike Back, I'll be happy. I don't even know what I'd want from a new Sonic. We're in such a weird phase again of like, alright, you've beaten me down so much, I don't even know what I want from you anymore. JC brings up a great point for my prediction of Yakuza 7 and Next Gen. I think that's one of the big things Sega's going to show on their day besides Nocturne Remastered. And one of my big reasons for that is Microsoft has a bit of a ace in the hole with Yakuza 7. And I say that because they are the only next-gen version of that game launching this holiday. PlayStation 5 is getting a version of Yakuza 7, but it's not going to be ready for launch, and they've said that. And I don't think that's because they can't have it ready. I think that's literally due to the fact that Microsoft paid them for next-gen exclusivity launchment. And I think they need as much help as they can get, so go for it. But it's one of those things of like, hey, if you're really big into Yakuza and you're looking at new platforms, the Xbox One X is going to be your best version. So also for that Japanese audience, hey, if you want to look at Xbox as like being a little more Japanese friendly, look, we're doing a new Phantasy Star Online 2. We're doing Yakuza 7 Next Gen first on Xbox. Like, these are big deals for Japan, so they could show these things off. So I would say expect a lot of stuff that we saw from Xbox in their August showcase appearing again. Important to remember that there was also I think it was announced either today or earlier this week that Microsoft is also doing a game showcase at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if this is just going to be exclusively for Japan or how English focused this is going to be, but even something like Persona Benedict we could see announced there. It's like everything's up in the air of like what they're going to show, but they know that they need a lot more Japanese support. Namco has said they've got support for Xbox. Sega has supported Xbox. Now, can we get Atlus support on Xbox? That'd be a really big get for them. It'd piss a lot of people off, but guess what? You can't say break free Persona if you don't want it to really break free and go everywhere. Okay, so I think I might do this. I'm gonna catch up on chat really quick. We're gonna come up with one more prediction for just random TGS BS and do questions and wrap up the show, because I think we're almost at an hour, right? Yeah, I've been talking for 40 minutes. I'm sorry for anyone who's been here that long. Let's catch ourselves up on some Sonic love. Okay. A little bit of a side note I want to point out, just because Vito brought up the port of Ishin and Kinzan for Yakuza. I don't want to call out the producer who commented on we're looking for the right time to release those games. You're not gonna release those games unless unless they get really desperate next year or something, because okay, yes, they're going to release them eventually. I'm sure they'll find some way to do it. But the thing that kind of annoys me about him saying that is you released 3 Yakuza games in less than 6 months with the remastered collection. It's you're not in a position where you think you can't flood the market, or you are worried about flooding the market. I think someone brought up the fact that Kiwami 2 and Fist of the North Star Paradise or whatever, that came out in 2 months of each other. So they've already done it to an extent, whether they want to admit it or not. The market's going to get flooded one way or the other. Excuse me real quick, guys. I'll be actually right back. I'm going to turn the music up and mute myself. I have to go get something really quick. We're back. Sorry about that, everybody. Hopefully that was not too stupidly long, and I didn't lose everybody waiting. I'm horrified to, like, wonder how long that was. 23 people, and how were there more of you watching? Thank you so much, Chad. You're, too nice. Yeah, so sorry about that. So, let's do a little clap break so that I know when to edit the show back here. Alright, so, we're back in the wrench crotch. Thank you guys so much for not bailing on me. So we were talking about Sega predictions. I love how just, like, the numbers went up and chat just stopped. Like, I was like, oh, they'll talk to each other at least. You guys can talk when I'm not here, you know. Alright, so actual refresh over. So chat is saying, I don't think that particularly thwarts with it pumping out the fan base. They literally are just reanimating the cutscenes like in 3, 4, 5. Let's see. But yeah, the moral of the story, release all the Yakuza games. Even if you find a way to do the dumb... I say the dumb. Even if you can find a way to do like the weird spin-offs, like, what is it, I can't even remember what the PSP ones were called, but yeah, the PSP ones were fine. Mirth sold a broken PlayStation 3? Oh my god. I guess we're just selling them for parts now. But yeah, I'd say 2021, if Yakuza 7 keeps going great, it's going to be a while till the next mainline game. I doubt Judgment 2 is happening anytime soon. So, yeah, like, they've got plenty of downtime between 7 and the next game. Okay. Dead Souls. No, Dead Souls we do not need remastered. Leave it on PS3. You just come in here and just be like, new Sonic, new Monkey Ball, Dead Souls. God, you can't just come in here and just drop in these, like, straight facts. Dead Souls can stay back. No, you can stay. You stay where you are, Dead Souls. We don't need you. We're fine. Oh my gosh. Weird port that the Yakuza team did. Didn't the Yakuza team also do Binary Domain? Where? Oh, I swear that's the same team. Let's look this up. Binary Domain. Where's our Binary Domain next-gen port? That's on Steam. I swear that was done by, like, the same team who did Yakuza. It is! Where is our Binary Domain port? Oh my god, it's 8 years old. That is so funny. Oh my god. Binary Domain. When is the last time anyone thought about that game? Oh my god. It's like from the company who... No, it's like from the publisher who brought you Vanquish. It's Vanquish, but bad. You know, Binary Domain isn't bad, but, like, Binary Domain is literally, like, you could tell they were like, okay, well, the Dead Souls guys need something to do, so we'll give them a job, I guess. Oh my god. V8, thank you for dropping by. Have a great night. Jester brings up a great prediction. Lost Dimension. I was just thinking about that because I booted up my PS3 right here next to me, and I forgot. Lost Dimension's only on PS3 and Vita. I think it's also on Steam. Let's actually check. Lost Dimension Steam. Yes, it is, with a rocking 7 out of 10. Shout out, by the way, it was ported to PC by the makers of Lucifer's Call, Ghostlight Games, with all their PC porting. Yeah, Ghostlight Games is a whole heck of a lot of ports from Japanese companies. Like, they do all the Neptunia games to Switch now. Well, I say all, but they did the Neptunia game to Switch. Yeah, Lost Dimension's great. I've been meaning to do a video about that for a while, but I just kind of keep putting it on the back burner of, like, I don't know if I want to review it, if not, just, like, remind the world that game exists, because Lost Dimensions is, like, such a great game that no one talks about, of, like, Lost Dimensions is Valkyria Chronicles meets Danganronpa, and it's so great, especially because that game has random traders of, like, it's such an underrated game, but yeah, like, that game is just so great. Alright, Mirth, don't worry about not keeping up with all the things that Sega makes. It's a whole thing. Let's Happy DMC5 DLC. While the world obviously wants Virgil, I can't imagine that game sold as well as it did, and they don't already know that they need to make a new game. So, like, if we don't ever get playable Virgil, that sucks in 5, but you know we're gonna get something else. Like, that game was too great. Timmy Tom says, Spencer, do you think Spike Chunsoft will reprint the Danganronpa games on physical? Let me call them up real quick. Hold on. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Oh, Spike. Yeah. We all know you're publishing the Danganronpa games in the West now worldwide. Congratulations on that. We were just wondering, 2 questions. Number 1, could you guys reprint the... No? No, you don't even want to know what I'm gonna... You're not gonna reprint anything. Spike, nothing? You're terrible at publishing games physically in the West and you never make money on anything? Alright. Alright, my other question, I can't help but notice you kept the PlayStation Vita games digitally delisted still, but you... Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't want to talk about the Vita games. Okay. Thanks, Spike. That was appreciated. Oh, thank you, Spike, for being good once, having all the good employees leave, and just living up to a reputation of nothing, I guess. Either way, we got some questions. Let's pull up our questions from Discord first, because Discord gets a special shout-out because you get your own tab. Alright, our questions for today. First comes from Let's Happy Together. Over-under on 13 Sentinels Western sales. Personally, I don't think they'll be very high. Okay, so I joked about there being 5 copies, but in reality... In reality, I'm going to say the game is going to sell... Well, here. The game is going to get a print run of, let's say, 10,000 copies. It's probably going to take about a year for them all to sell out, and if that, it's going to go clearance within, like, 3 months. Like, seriously, Black Friday, mark this right now. 13 Sentinels will be $30 or less on Black Friday this year. Like, that's just going to be the truth. And that's coming from someone who's going to buy it. Vita version of Scramble Win. God, I wish. Yes, we will do Spike predictions. Senorish, you bring up a great point. If Spike Chunsoft reprints Danganronpa 1, 2, and V3, but not Ultra Spare Girls, should be mad. No. We should be mad if think of this happens. What if they reprint all of the games physically in the West on PS4 with new cover art? Like that for me, because I'm just like such a I'm like such a cover art snob. If the art's good, oh god, I gotta buy it now for no reason. Let's see. They made a 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors. Nothing is impossible. I don't think that. No, that's a great point, Murph. Because Koei Tecmo actually has 1,000,000 ports on Vita. Like they do really great work. Like Berserk, like on Vita, yeah, it looks rough, but like it still runs pretty well. Chester, what reminded you of Trinity Souls? Hold on. My wild prediction. Oh, here we go. My wild prediction: Trinity Soul hack and slash game. I don't know why in my head I thought the prediction was going to go Persona Trinity Soul Hackers. And it would be like a crossover between the worlds of like one of the most beloved niche games in the series and one of the least talked about spin-off animes. Oh my gosh. You guys are great. Let us continue on with the questions though. So yeah, it'll sell its 10,000 for it, but yeah, don't think I need too much for it. 481 says, what's causing the Megaton price gouges? So yes, if you're aware, if your game has an S, a M, a T, or whatever on there, you are just going for gold prices right now. And, hold on, we're trying to get this a little quieter. So yeah, it's tough because like there's not one specific reason why Megaton games are going for more now, as opposed to like it's a multiple of factors of SMT5 hype, SMT Nocturne hype, Persona 5 Royal hype, people stuck at home, people having money, people not having money, a wide variety of different sort of things. I would say it's just so tough because the market has been just changing and getting more crazy as things have gone by. It's going to go down eventually, but it's just too up in the air for it to really change. But there's not really one specific thing. Like, because like we mentioned, like, it's not everything. It's more specifically the 3DS games are expensive, and Persona 4 Golden on Vita is expensive. That's the only real ones that have, like, super shot up in price. Like, people aren't selling their PlayStation 3 copies of Persona 5 for, like, $60. God, I hope not. Please, please, please let that not be true. Let's see. Next quiz. Over 100,000 in the West, I think, so 200,000 worldwide. Oh my god, Jalia. That is such a bold prediction for 13 Sentinels. I don't know who in marketing you're working for, but boy, that is such a bold guess, my man. There we go. Just the absolute quietest. No, dude. Like, I don't think any Vanillaware game has ever sold over 100K in the West. No. That's not true. Dragon's Crown Pro did. Dragon's Crown Pro definitely did not. Nobody asked for that port. Dragon's Crown on Vita and PS3, that sold over 100,000 easy. That game did really, really, really well for that company. And good for them. They fucking needed it. The game was having a long... It has such a great, like, development story. Always trying to fit just right in the nether regions. Let's see. Mirth says Persona 5 physical can still be bought for less than $20. I bought one last week on eBay. Can't confirm. Timmy Tom, yes, Ultra Despair Girls does have a PS4 version. It was actually released physically for $30 to $40. I know it was not $60. I actually remember seeing it on like Best Buy clearance like the week it came out. It was really weird. But yes, you can find Danganronpa physical for Ultra Despair Girls. I cannot imagine that got a very high price print run, so it might be tough to come across. Alright, next question comes from Infinity and Beyond. It says, what do you think Spike Chunsoft will show at TGS? Going back to my cynical answer, they're going to announce Danganronpa V3 for mobile, and they're going to think that's enough. Me being optimistic for them, they'll finally announce a Switch port so that more people can play the game, but they know that they can't touch that series without the fans just turning on them, so they're kind of just in that shitty situation, sadly. Shout out to Scott's 3 Vita games. Little Devious, Little Big Planet, and Tetris Ultimate. Not even Puyo Puyo Tetris. What is up, Moji Mia Boy? Boy, I just completely killed that. Physical copies of Ultra Spare Girls are pretty expensive now, but weirdly enough, the European copy is cheaper. Yeah, NIS Europe does way larger print runs, or is just way less popular over there. Their site even does like clearance sales quite often. A Mystery Dungeon spinoff? No, dude, I can't even imagine that because, like, I don't know, that company's just in such a weird spot of, like, they've not done anything of note. I guess since maybe Zenki Zero, and even that, sales-wise, didn't do very well. Yeah, the Western branch is, like, trying to do visual novels now, but, like, Steins Gate Elite came out to a wet fart. They're doing Robotics Notes something, name I always forget in the West, but even that's, like, ports of old Vita games that Vita people wanted, but I don't know about PS4 and Switch people wanting them now, but hey. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, for Danganronpa, it's like expect barely anything at all or nothing at all. Robotic Notes Elites. Thank you, Hagane. What would I do without you? You're my favorite co-host without actually being on here. Let us see. K-Dog says, do you think they're going to announce Persona 4 Golden console port? That would definitely be doable at TGS. I think that'd be like, hey, let's get something out, but they're also in no hurry. Like I said, they have something coming out everything this month of, like, I think shadow dropping that or, like, announcing that for, like, a January release would do pretty solid. Yes, Eric, great point. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon did well, but that's a Pokemon game. Mystery Dungeon doesn't always super get a lot of games, even when they are successful, so I wouldn't expect anything right away. But yeah, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games are the best Spike Chunsoft selling games, probably next to Danganronpa. Let us see. Zeron says, besides Sega and Atlus, what other Japanese game companies are you going to watch their live streams? I'm going to watch all of them. I love watching anything and everything from all these game shows. It's just, whether they're good or whether they're bad, it's like, I just can't really stop myself from wanting to watch it just because it's like, I don't know, it's like, I'm just a sucker for watching how good these shows can be at their best or how disappointing they can be, like New Game Plus Expo. Hey, remember New Game Plus Expo, everybody? No, let's not think about that anymore. Stephen Yep on Facebook says, my wish for someone is to announce that recent rumors of... Sorry, here we go. My recent wish is for someone to announce that the recent rumors of no PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 support for Sony were false. Sorry, they're true. And that all the old discs in circulation, i.e. my binder full of games, can be played on modern hardware without PCs. Yeah, it's not going to happen, and it just really sucks just due to the fact of, like, Sony has such a great library of titles from the past and even the present, and it's just such a disappointment that current Sony has thought of no way to really appease anybody, and any times they've tried, it's like, oh, cool, we'll do PlayStation 2 Classics. Wait, you guys only wanted Grand Theft Auto? You don't want Dark Cloud 1 and 2? You're not going to buy 1 million copies of Dark Cloud 1 and 2? Okay, we'll stop. I guess you guys didn't want the niche games. Because, like, if you looked at all of the PlayStation 2 classics they did on PS3, they did so many. They did, like, all the Suikoden games. They did every SMT game. They did all the Persona games. It was just like, okay, like, you guys nailed it on PS3, but because the major difference between PS3 and PS4 is that Sony had to develop them all. And while companies like Microsoft have said, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll make all your games backwards compatible, like, that's no big deal, like, because they know that's a selling point, Sony are in such a high horse right now, they're like, why would we waste our time making PS2 games work on PS4, let alone add everything else to PS5, so it sucks that's not a priority. I don't even know, like, it's like, backwards compatible, it's a tough sell in the sense of, yes, it's an easy win for consumers, but it doesn't always generate profits. A lot of it is just people like Steven who want to go pull out their binder full of games and put in Austin Powers Pinball from the PlayStation 1. So it's just kind of a bummer. I don't necessarily agree with what Eric says of Sony as an awful business company. Like, they've made a lot of bad steps in terms of them being in first place, but it's like they're not consumer friendly like they used to be anymore. But I mean, they're still in first place. We're still buying all their products. We still like them more than, at least for me personally, like, I still like Sony products way more than Microsoft products. Like, what they're doing is working. I can criticize them as much as I want, but it's not really hurt their profits at all, nor do I see it happening anytime soon. Khalil says, am I going to live stream the Sega Atlus show? Let's see actually when that was again. It's the header image of the show, and you think I would have had that, like, saved or whatnot. Let's see. Boy, that's tough. I'm trying to see if it's going to be a time where I can do it. If it's a time where I'm home, 100%, I'll be there. You guys know I have no life. If I'm not, like, playing my Vita collection, it's like I'm here. Okay, I think I could do at least a couple of these. Most of these seem like they're not during my workday, so at the very least I'm going to do a reactions post to them all, but That's about it. Andrew, you have not missed much. You've just missed about an hour of me trying to talk to a whole world of people about predictions and bad corporate decisions. 4 a.m. live stream, baby. I can do that. Why not? Velvet Network and SMT Network 4 a.m. live stream crossover. It's happening. You've heard it here first. Cole Carey from the Facebook group says, how about literally anything from the new Tales of game? Tales of has definitely got to make an appearance. They've been way too quiet even with the delay. I think it's a slam dunk in terms of they'll probably have a demo, but I don't think you expect too much more outside of maybe a seasonal date. Like saying, oh, like here's the holiday date. I'm guessing Tales is probably going to be a summer or fall 2021 game. Caleb, we already talked about Persona 5 Arena, but Persona 5 Racing, I'll say this, if they can get the guys who made the good Sonic Racing Transform game, not Team Sonic Racing, I would be in for Persona 5 Racing. Vito from the chat also says, would you want a SMT Cross Fire Emblem Dark crossover game? Sorry, oh my gosh, wow, I'm so used to seeing SMT Cross Fire Emblem, I actually didn't even see this. Sorry. He said, would you want a SMT Cross Final Fantasy Dark crossover? That is a lot more of an interesting question. I would love that. I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy, and I think those series could definitely work together in an interesting way. I don't know how I would really want that to work, just because they have so many sort of series and whatnot, but like, even if it was just something like a Persona Q-like crossover again, where it's a lot more whimsical and lighthearted with the whole cast of every series, I think that'd be fun. Making a serious one just be tough because you just have so many choices and characters. It's just so tough because, like, especially Final Fantasy, you have all these games to pick from, and then Persona is barely a third as big with just the mainline titles alone, and SMT adding into it gets it a little closer, but like even something like Bart's is more famous than the protagonist from like all the Devil Summoner games, not counting Raito, but like I'm talking like the Sega Saturn and Soul Hackers. No, that is a great crossover. I just have absolutely no idea like how that would work, but God, if I don't want it. Twitter questions. We've got 2 left. First one comes from Kieran, who says, you mentioned that you're a fan of the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games, but were you a fan of Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex and Crash to Insanity? I am so glad you asked. So, I am a huge Crash Bandicoot fan. I loved all of them up until Twinsanity. I've played every Crash Bandicoot game, and when I mean every, I even mean like the weird cell phone ones, the weird portable ones, the Skylanders level from like Imaginators. Like, I'm a huge Crash Bandicoot fan. I think Wrath of Cortex gets a really big, it gets way too much shit. There's a lot of interesting stuff from that game's development. It was clearly a game that got rushed out for what it was trying to be, but it's not that bad. But definitely you could tell that the team needed a lot more time and a lot more work. Because then if you look at like Twinsanity is like, holy crap, this concept's great, but the budget falls through. Like, the game is super short, which is its kind of big downfall. Like, Wrath of Cortex is pretty long, but doesn't really get to make a good impression for you by the end of it, whereas Twinsanity is just like, oh my god, this is so great, I really love it, and then it just kind of falls off a cliff. So, I love both of those games just for like nostalgia. Like, I think Wrath of Cortex was like my first PS2 game, or one of them. I remember getting my PS2, I got Wrath of Cortex and the Mobile Suit Gundam game that I don't even remember that came out, but man, God, those early Gundam games were so stupidly hard, at least for my dumb brain back then. Khalil, you're just speaking to my heart here. A Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy Musou game would literally make me scream my pants. Like, that would just like make me so happy. I think we have one last question, then we are going to wrap up the show. David Cass RPG says, We were supposed to get Project Re Fantasy news in 2020. Put an asterisk there. We're going to talk about that. According to Atlus's holiday New Year plan, what are your predictions for this title at TGS trailer, teaser, developer interview? No Re-Fantasy, no trailer, no gameplay, maybe a mention. Maybe a Famitsu mention in an article or something. This is not anyone's... like, cup of tea in the sense of, like, oh, yeah, we gotta talk about this. Because, like, if you're Atlus, it's like, okay, being honest, more people are needing to focus on Nocturne Remastered, because Nocturne Remastered, the more hype for that, the more hype for SMT5 next year. So why try and push out more information for the new game from the guys behind Persona 5? That game's going to sell amazingly no matter what, because it has the tagline, by the guys who made Persona 5. Like, they could come out with a donkey simulator, and people would be like, yeah, but dude, it's fucking made by the guys who made Persona 5. You gotta play the donkey simulator. Yeah, so it's like, I'm sure that game is making fine time for development, but yeah, it's like, Re-Fantasy, take your time. There's no rush. It's gonna be a game that comes out when it comes out. We are in a spot where Atlus is like, yeah, out of all the games that Atlus could talk about, like, why talk about that? It's like not even a big deal. Oh, here we go. I know we were talking about... Oh, this is by Kugagao, by the way. I know we were talking about overpriced SMT games, but I found someone charging $63 for Soul Hackers, a game, no case. Sorry, hold on. No, I gotta reverse. $63 for the case, no game? That's insane. That's, like, actually insane. For the case. That's not even the actual case. That's just, like, the paper. I could print that cover. That's insane. That's insane, actually. Wow. Khalil, also, thanks for sharing. I had no idea there was a Tales of Muso. I don't know if that was actually... I don't know if that was, like, properly developed by them, but I have to look that up after the show's done. We're all just going to freak out and end the show by talking about the $65 game for the case! Oh my god. Either way, yeah. So, yes, Atlus said in their company card or New Year's well wishes, we're going to talk about SMT5, we're going to talk about Project Re Fantasy. Literally mentioning it once is talking about it. Like, they don't have to do very much at all, so... my god, yeah, it's just, it's a thing of, like, yeah, I want it, but, like, if I'm being an honest, like, person here, who is more excited for Re-Fantasy than every other closer title coming out? Because it's like, I'm sure Re-Fantasy is going to be great, but we only have a concept and some music. That's, like, about it. It's like, we've seen more for all these other games, so why wouldn't we be more excited? Also, if I seem a little distracted, I need to close this. There's just a giant cicada just chilling in front of my window, and it is very, very distracting. Alright, much better. That was the show. If anyone in chat has any last-minute questions, please let me know. As I'm watching myself in the replay, have to get up, enjoy my sweet stomach shot there, video guys. Yeah, and Jester, like, if you're more excited for Re-Fantasy than Scramble, that's fine, but it's just, like, Re-Fantasy we have no concept of, in terms of, okay, we have the concept, we know what kind of game it's going to be, but it's just, like, one of those things of, like, it's not tangible. It's not a real game in terms of everything else that, like, we've seen, like, to think, like, it's like, yeah, we've seen more SMT5 than Re-Fantasy, so I'm more excited for something like SMT5. Senor says, thank you for giving me some nice background noises while I played the answer. Oh, God, why are you playing the answer? The answer, oh, my God, maybe you lost a bet. I don't know. Enjoy playing the answer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're playing that. I'm going to send the Tales of Muso thing to the Discord. Thank you very much, Khalil. $80 for the case. We're going to end it with Vito's question, just because I'm a huge Chrono Trigger fan, as anyone in this world should be. Chrono Trigger remake or sequel? I think the DS version is just such a perfect version of that game that I'm just like, let's do sequel, baby. I like Chrono Cross. I enjoy Radical Dreamers for what I've seen. Why not? Let's just go with a full-on sequel for Chrono Cross. Rune Factory 5, question mark. I will say this. I enjoy Rune Factory. I'm not a Rune Factory fan, but I'm sure Rune Factory 5 will be great. Will it be great enough to finally pull me in? That I do not know. I want to be able to say I beat the answer. That is a commendable effort. Mirth, I'll let you go. A last minute prediction: we'll get a new SMT5 trailer, which Nintendo will retweet afterwards. I'll try and tell you this: if we get an SMT5 trailer, we will. Oh my god! You wanna know what would be really evil? An SMT5 trailer will unlock if you put the Joker amiibo on Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. They're going to patch in a new trailer only for amiibo owners of Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. That's my evil last final prediction of the show. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching / listening to this dumpster fire of a TGS prediction show. I have been your host, Spencer Presley. If you enjoyed this and would like to help support the channel, I am super close to getting out of Ren's nether regions and getting to 1,000 subscribers, which I would really love to do by my birthday, which is now 20 days away. Let's see. Besides that, if you would like to help besides subscribe, you can follow us on Twitter at SMT Network. You can follow my personal Twitter account, which is Torchwood4SP. If you would like to find the channel on YouTube, you can just search Shin Megami Tensei Network. You can look up Spencer Presley. It'll be in the show notes, everything below. We have a Facebook group that is facebook.com/group/SMT Network. There's a Facebook page as well, which you can find on the group. We are on iTunes, and we are on Spotify, we're on Google Play. If you guys want to rate or review us there, even if you never plan on listening, just rate and review us. It helps so much. I cannot tell you guys how much that really helps spread the audience. Spreading the word on Twitter, just anything and everything helps. But even just interacting, commenting, hanging out in the Discord. The link for the Discord will be below. I just really love hanging out and chat with you guys. I can't believe for the last something hour we made predictions. We talked about Persona 5 Benedict. We talked about garbage gacha games. We talked about, oh my gosh, Spike Chun. We called Spike Chunsoft in the middle of the show. It's like we've set new precedents for this. So thank you guys so much for this. Either way, I will be back next week. Not sure what. There was a plan for a special guest today, but special guest got pushed to sometime later this month for a good reason. But you guys will see why. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But either way, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I will catch you later. Have a good one. And that's where the recording's going to stop. And then we talk in the YouTube chat for a little bit longer because I have a problem. Spike made me say. Thanks, Spike. Remember when Spike Chunsoft was actually just called Spike? Like they had that logo and everything? Thank you so much, Mirth. Thank you so much, Senors, Khalil, Kuga, the Awesome One, Jester, Ark, Vito, Andrew, Timmy Tam. So many of you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Velvet Network. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Derp Lord. You guys are the best. Have a good night, everybody. Try and have some fun. You know what? Hold on. Let's pop up in the Discord so we can see what the hell this Muso game was. Whoa. Tales of the Heroes Twin Brave. It is a Muso. Came out in 2012? Why would it not have been released on Vita? That's really weird. Like, they were doing split ports at that time. That's very odd. Huh, I'll have to look that up, actually. No, I was gonna be like, oh, I could pull up a video for us all to watch. I'd be like, no, not even gonna risk it. I'll look it up in my free time. Either way, guys, thank you so much. Here, we'll be extra mean. And, let's pull up the camera so I'm not a complete idiot. Say goodbye to Scramble. And then say goodbye to Scrambled Benedict. I promise you guys will play this game soon. 2020. Free the eggs. Hashtag break free scramble Sona. This will be you one day. Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.